Good morning and welcome to Gail's Garden Spring Tour, where you will hear lots of roosters crowing. I live very rural and there's little farms all around me and lots of chickens everywhere. Well, I just walked through one of my gates, so let's go in here. My garden is always a garden in progress, and I don't know how long I'll be able to continue working on my garden. I don't know how long I'll be here, but I'm going to do it anyway because I enjoy it, and I enjoy coming out here and just spending time in my garden, whether I'm working or not. But usually if I sit very long, I see something that needs done and I'm up working at it. So, I've got a lot of different things in here. It's getting to where in these boxes about the only thing that's going to live is herbs, although I do have a few other things planted, but the roots are coming up from the tree and stealing all the water nutrients. But you've got to see this. I don't know if you can see all of those apricots, but they're like in big clumps like grapes on the tree. This particular apricot tree is the first to produce. There's different types. We have several different types of apricots here, and so the landlord told me. But yeah, it is just loaded. But yeah, it gets lots of nutrients and water from my boxes over here. Well, at least I get something out of it, right? These are those pretty little plants. I got a couple of them with the tall blue spires I told you about last year when I got them. I just loved them. You don't eat them, but they're so pretty. I've been working in here. I got some lemon cucumbers, so with my little skinny tomato cages. Go on, Reggie. I tied them together to make kind of a trellis for my lemon cucumbers. And I got several plants along here. I've got that purple cauliflower in there and another lemon cucumber over here, so I built another trellis. I've been spraying neem oil this morning to try to keep the bugs down before they start getting bad, and noticing a few starting to come in. They're not really bad yet, but they're getting there. I love my real wine barrel. That thing is huge. And I just think it's so pretty. Very different than the little things you get out of Home Depot or something. They're really, really nice. But anyway, I have different things planted and all. I've got a Siberian wallflower, cinnamon basil, just different herbs and plants. And that's a witch hazel tree there. And sorry, my shadow's getting in the way. Yeah, just a lot. I've got a pomegranate, and again, it's in the way. I can't keep out of the picture. I've got all kinds of stuff planted. Over in the end, I've got, in the little containers, I have got, let me go back around the tree this way. Look at my strawberries. They are blooming in this green stalk. This is a hawthorn tree. I'll get my hawthorn berries that are good for my heart. But what I wanted to show you was over here, the little Mr. Stripey tomatoes I'll be planting soon. These are the best tasting tomatoes ever was. I love Mr. Stripey tomatoes. These came back from my seeds and that I planted from one of my Mr. Stripey tomatoes. The flavors on these are just amazing, so I'm hoping they do well. But anyway, I have a little work area over here, and then I've got some moringa planted in there, some more herbs and cosmos, and I have a few plants scattered around my work area. This is cucumbers and a hot banana pepper, and right here is a chase cherry tree. I like my garden to be a little wild and not pristine, but still if you keep every little weed out, then you don't get the pretty little wild things that come. So there are some weeds although I have done a lot of weeding, more than you would imagine with all the weeds you might see. But look at those sweet peas. I think those are sweet peas that show up. Those are the kind you can't eat. Let me get a closer look. Here's some more. Aren't those beautiful? That's just wild coming up. I don't even know where it came from. One of the many birds that have been coming in here brought it. When I first started, this looked totally different. You wouldn't recognize it when I first started here about 4 or 5 years ago, working in this area. There weren't even any birds, but now all kinds of little birds come in. And they are bringing and planting things as well. And that's what I really enjoy about leaving my garden a little bit wild. One of my tools. Let me set that up here so I can see it better and it doesn't get lost. That's another thing about a wild garden. Things can get lost like tools. Anyway, I have some ashwagandha and some flowers in here. A zucchini there. These are some of my older bell pepper. I think that's a purple bell pepper, which sometimes turns colors after years of being in the pot. And another pepper, I think that's a hot banana pepper. I've got ashwagandha, which you probably can't see, but there's some little tiny minute ashwagandha coming up in there besides the flowers. I'll have different flowers planted everywhere. And then down in that little pot is some anise, just plain anise. And this one is hyssop, just plain hyssop. And then back here, I have a third one that's called anise hyssop, both those names together. So that's kind of interesting. This is my horseshoe, of course, and I've got all kinds of things planted in that, herbs and flowers. And there is bee balm in the back. And when I used to have some, but it died out in the boxes. This box is going to be the end of me, I think, but it's somewhere to plant. Anyway, I had them a few years there. They're beautiful when they bloom, but not only beautiful, the smell is just, that's not even the right word, the fragrance. Because it smells so good. It's unbelievable on the blossoms of bee balm. As far as using the leaves for tea, you can, but it's kind of like drinking oregano tea. It almost tastes like oregano. But the blossoms are so fragrant, so wonderful. And the name of the plant is bee balm. And there's a reason for that, because it does attract bees. You get your pollinators being attracted in, which is really, really good. Look at one of my snapdragons is blooming. Isn't that pretty? I just love flowers and stuff. The others haven't bloomed. I'm not sure what colors they will be. On the ends over there, I have some feverfew, and I had transplanted those from my herb wheel that I took apart, and they weren't looking real good, so I cut back most of the leaves, and now they've releafed. They're releafing out. You still have to be careful with them because they're kind of like a weed themselves. They will take over, but I just love their cheery little flowers. Along the edge there that's trying to grow is some holy basil, and then I've got other little things here. The cats dug out this plant, but it came back, and I'm not sure what it is yet. So, that almost looks like, I don't know. I'm not going to say because I'm not sure what that is. Okay, let's go back over here. This is blackberry vines that I cut back, and they come from next door, which, I like the blackberries, but I do cut these tips off a lot. I just dried a bunch of these. Looks like I have some more tips I could cut off here, and then I pull them out, because the tips make a wonderful blackberry tea, which tastes a lot like black tea. Down there is more cilantro. I have cilantro everywhere. This is a jalapeno, and this is garlic chives. I probably will plant one of my Mr. Stripey tomatoes in there. On my green stalk, I had an extra one of these because I didn't put all of the tiers up because I'm so short I couldn't reach the water on top. This is the regular green from the regular green stalk, so I just use it as an extra planter. And a new plant I'm trying this year is like a variegated type of basil, which I love all different. There's so many types of basil, and I just love it. This one's called a pesto perpento. I'm not real good at Italian. I guess that's what that is. Oh, and a cucumber plant here, but I love variegated plants and I love basil, so that's a good combination, huh? I've got all kinds of stuff planted in there. It looks like my elephant garlic is kind of overshadowing a lot of things because it's so big. I hope my elephant garlic does good because last year I planted it in my boxes where it's kind of dry and they did good. This year I've got them in here and I've got a lot of little seeds, so I have to keep it damp. So we'll see. I don't know how the elephant garlic's going to do. Um, I plant a little different than most people. I disperse a lot of different things together to try to fool the bugs. And it's also a type of companion planting too. I've got herbs and I've got veggies all mixed together. There's a brassica down there. This is valerian. I've got more valerian here. There's radishes and there's kale and garlic. I've got cosmic purple carrots in little rows down here, more kale. On the end here is more cilantro. Let me tell you something about cilantro. I hate cilantro. You say, why are you growing so much? Well, I'm learning to like it because it clears metals out of your body. And it does that better than any other plant that I know of. So I have been making myself eat it, and I'm getting to where I actually don't mind it now. I'm almost liking it. It's not my favorite, but at least I don't hate it anymore because I've made myself eat some. And when you mix it in a juice with beets and carrots and apples and all kinds of stuff, you really don't taste it so much, and you just gradually start getting used to it because it's really, really important. We're so exposed to so many different harmful metals that our bodies absorb from a lot of different ways that the cilantro is really good to kind of chelate that out of your system. Over in this end bed here, I had planted a lot of things that didn't come up, and then I planted more and didn't come up. I planted more, and now they're all coming up. I planted through some flower seeds in there that I'm seeing start to pop up. I've also been weeding. I weeded yesterday, and those weeds have already sticking their heads back up again, some of them. Some black-eyed peas came up. I don't know if they're going to make it. I weeded around them and disturbed the roots quite a bit, but they look okay. But all of them didn't come up, so I don't think I'm going to have enough, which is kind of sad because it's hard to find organic black-eyed peas. This isn't another one of those purple spire plants. It's so pretty. I planted some cilantro down here. Let's see. I put this up for kind of a trellis for the cantaloupe. We'll see. And my birds did some more planting there. I'm really pretty sure that is a sunflower because last year I had some planted over there along the fence, and I think a bird came over here and planted a seed for me. I've got little carrots down there and kale down in there. I've got my sweet peas along the edge. They didn't do too good along that edge. They're starting to bloom, but the leaves are small. They're better down here. I don't know what I did different. Look, that broccoli plant, I probably talked about it before, but look at all the little, I can't keep up with it. I have never had a broccoli plant supply me like this one has. It's like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going and going and going. And my peas, the leaves are bigger and they're growing up a little better. I've got the little bite-sized carrots planted down in here. I took out a bunch of onions, but I still have some. I've got cilantro down among the garlic and stuff. Now you may ask, Miss Gail, what are those white buckets I keep seeing around the garden? I put food scraps in those. There's holes in the lids in the bottom, and the worms come up in it. And sometimes if I need some worms, like to go put in my green stock or something, I'll just lift the bucket up. And if there's nothing under it, I open up the lid, and they usually go inside there and lay their eggs or however they have their babies. I'm not a worm expert. I'll find worms in the buckets. They love to go in there and eat the compost. And then when I water and the water drips through the top of the lid down through the compost and into the ground, it's giving a feeding to the plants. So I have those, as you'll see. I've got another one over here, and I've got them dispersed around in different places. It's a great worm catcher if you want to go fishing or whatever. Okay, my lilac is just about petered out. Not much not much fragrance left. I hate to say smell because it has a connotation of being bad, and it's, oh, I love my lilacs. Got some romaine lettuce down there coming in. Excited about that. And then a little tiny rose plant there. This is another green stalk that I've got all kinds of things. I've got a few black-eyed peas coming in there. I had planted some green beans never do good for me here. My shadow again. I got one here and a couple there. I've got some, I think that's a cucumber. Another black-eyed pea planted next to it. There is lettuce and flowers and echinacea, and down on the bottom is bok choy, and up here is spinach, some more lettuce there. Got a lot of stuff there. Over here, that one is got a cinnamon basil just starting to come up. And this is, oh, I love those sun gold little tomatoes. Those are so good. There's some licorice basil there. And another sweet potato plant here. I had some back on the other side too. And down there is my purple basil. Now this beautiful little plant here is a fennel plant. This is called a bronze fennel. Look how dark the little little fronds first start coming out. You can really see the bronze. You can slightly see it here. I think it's so pretty. You can eat these leaves, these frond leaves. They are really good. In the fall, it will make fennel seed. I haven't had luck with the fennel seed. My fennel seed doesn't mature. I don't know if they're not. I don't know what it is. But the leaves are really good to eat in a salad, and it just smells good. And it, I don't know, it's a pleasant little plant, and it's hardy. I've had it a few years here. It comes back every year. And one year before I had my beds in, I had chickens out in this area, and I put a little piece of chicken wire around it so they wouldn't dig it up. I'm sure that they tasted it quite heavily, but it made it through the chickens and came back again. Over here, I have some Sweet Annie. It came up this year. So I don't know if I will do anything with the Sweet Annie. You can make wreaths with it or all kinds of things. But you can make a really potent medicine that they used for, same thing they use quinine for. It's got a chemical substance in it that's really good, and it might very possibly even be good with viruses like the one that's going around. But I'm not really too worried about that, but it is nice to have it here if something were to happen, if I needed to make some up or something, but some medicine. But I think I'm just going to grow it to have it, and I don't know. I have the seeds, so I thought I'd grow it. Okay, we're walking back around here. These are all my blueberry plants. This one is blooming quite profusely, thankfully, so hopefully I'll get some blueberries. The others have been struggling where I've had them at. I hope they do better here. I repotted a couple that were in the ground that didn't do well. Maybe they'll do better in a pot. Most of the time my plants do better in the ground than in a pot, but I don't know. I know they like acid-loving soil, so I've tried to give them that. And for some reason, this one has done much better than the others, but I did have this under the patio. The chickens were jumping up and eating all the blueberries, and I didn't get any, hardly. I got a little handful. So I brought it in here from my thieving chickens. I have everything pretty much out of the greenhouse. More calendula there, echinacea there, which I will probably move. I don't know if I want to take you in the greenhouse or not. The cats have just tore up the plastic on the bottom, but I want to show you something. Okay, we're in the greenhouse. Yeah, I put my hanging dryer in. I love that for herbs, because herbs you want to hang slowly and delicately. And it gets warm in a greenhouse. So I thought I'd make a good dry place. Kyle's dog is at the bird training place, and when she comes back home here, she would have tore that down from the tree in the back. It was a really good spot I had last year. But I think this will be good because it gets warm in here. It should dry pretty fast. So, yeah, I put that in here. I don't know if you want to see this, but it's along the side of the greenhouse. I've got sunflowers planted. Down on the ends, a little hollyhock. One died. I still have one. If some of you hadn't seen on my other videos, you may wonder what that stuff is all over my, looks like spider webs, like I'm decorating or something for, I don't even like that holiday. But anyway, I had put it there to keep the cats from scratching in there, but they were still walking on it. Rotten, well, Reggie, well, even the other one too, Cinnamon. But and to keep the birds from eating the little tiny seeds that flower seeds that I had planted in there. So it seemed to work for that, and the cats can't actually dig in there as long as they don't walk and squish the little plants that are coming up. I have to chase them out of there. That's a fight with all the other animals. Oh, I had a bigger fig tree in the back, and this is my little fig tree here. And then I've got another, this is one of my elderberries. If I told you about my lettuce, I took one little lettuce plant and stuck it in that pot. The other day, Tamara and Missy and Becca and I were eating it. It's so sweet. It hasn't went to seed yet, and it's so big and beautiful. If all my lettuces had turned out like that. You really have to separate and give your lettuce room. I had my lettuces had a bunch of them planted too close together. But that one just took off in the shade under the tree. It gets the morning sun and the afternoon shade, and gets the water when I'm watering in the boxes. And boy, it really likes it there. It's beautiful. I have little pots and things all over. I'm not going to show them all to you, but you get an idea. I really don't like growing in these cloth pots that well, but for some reason this particular one does really well in this spot. So, yeah. This is my elder that I planted in the ground, and it's blossoming, and it is doing really well. The ones in the pot don't do so well. Down below are some boysenberries that are growing up. I like boysenberries. This funny looking little box is my asparagus box. Ooh, I got a little asparagus. I've had some good asparagus coming up. I throw a lot of kitchen scraps in here, and I have some flat leaf parsley that came up, and I have this little volunteer tomato plant. I don't know what kind of tomato it is. We will find out. Ooh, shall I eat that little asparagus spear coming up? I think I will. That's a little one, but it'll be tasty, I'm sure. I love asparagus. Yep, pretty good. Okay. That looks like weeds, but it's not. I sowed that. That is lamb's quarters, which handles the heat much better than spinach. It's kind of like spinach, but I like the flavor better. I'm in the middle of planting some okra, and I like yellow zucchini. I haven't seen any yet this year. I saved the seeds from some. I don't know what I'm going to get because it was a hybrid, so who knows what kind of zucchini I'm going to get. Another sunflower there. My marshmallow plants here. More calendula. There's some lettuce back there. This is sow's thistle. It's really good when it first starts coming up. Now it's blooming, then the birds like it. I like it when it's first coming up. And then the artichoke, I had about 5 artichoke plants, but the one in the middle is just kind of taken over. We've got a lot of little artichokes coming on. Now the one in the middle is not so little. It's just about ready to pick. It's bigger than my fist, that's for sure. So, yeah, this one is just, if you get artichoke plants, make sure you give them lots of room. I didn't give them enough room, and that one is just taken over all the others. Get a better look at my okra. The trees have grown over. There may be too much shade here now. I used to grow okra here and did really well. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I love my little those are just a bunch of wildflower seeds that I threw in there last year. They're so pretty though. They've been giving me pretty blossoms all spring. But I will conclude my tour. I didn't show you exactly everything, but just some of the high points. I think the most that I'm dealing with right now. And I hope you all have a blessed weekend, and I hope you enjoyed my tour. The thing is, I really need your thumbs up if you'd give that to me. My channel, I'm just not getting very many views. I did a collaboration and I got a lot of views and even some subscriptions because it was on another channel's link. But I'm only getting maybe 10 views, 20 views. Over time, I pick up a few more, but doesn't. And I've had a few people tell me they didn't even know I was posting again because YouTube's just not pushing it out there. But I had someone else said they see my channel popping up, so I don't know. But anyway, I bid you adieu. Bye-bye.